And I want to officially welcome you to a brand new training program we have, which is called the Successful Freelancer. Uh, this is very much foundational to everything you do as a freelancer. And I hope that you're ready to take some notes as best as you can, sort of try to remove or minimize the distractions, the open windows, put your phone on vibrate and grab your favorite drink. And let's dive into this important topic today. So this is a successful freelancer. I see some more people jumping in. Let more in as the session goes on. All right, let me just switch up a couple things, and I think we're about ready to get started. All right, so this is official welcome to this month's workshop called the Successful Freelancer. As I said from the outset, this is a pillar training program in every sense of the word because it is so foundational to your success. So every single student at our university will benefit from taking this training at one point or another. I anticipate it will be a popular course. And so I'm so glad that all of you were able to attend live today, and I hope you're doing well. And I look forward to a great time together. Don't hesitate to ask any questions as we go along. I'm actually going to take you through 10 steps to build a consistent freelance business. So we're going to go through 10 steps. And what I want you to do as we navigate through these 10 steps is to identify the steps that you have successfully completed, and then identify those steps that are ones that you're working through, you may be struggling through. And so all of you are at different places. And that's why I love this training, is because I think it will meet you where you're at. And so we've got a laundry list of 10. I probably could have made it bigger, but I would say these are about the 10 key success points to build a sustainable freelance business this year. And so we're going to work through those all together. But before we do that, I want to start with a question. I'd love to hear your comments in chat. You can just type something in quickly. But what does success look like to you right now? All right. As it relates, of course, to freelancing, what does success look like to you? It will look differently for everybody. You all have your own dreams, your own goals, your own desires, and your own definitions of success. So as it looks like in your life, in your business, what does success look like to you right now? Okay, so go ahead, just share in chat. What does success look like? Let me give you an example. It could be working remotely in a tropical climate 3 months of the year during the cold winter months. Maybe that would be what success looks like to you, or maybe landing three strong clients that you could build your business around. Maybe that's what success would look like to you. Maybe it's generating an extra $1,000 per month. Maybe that's what success looks like to you. Again, it's really dependent upon your goals and your current set of circumstances as well. So post in chat, what does success look like? So Rhonda says, independence and engaged with making a difference for others, fulfilling work. Yeah, so you want to do something that matters, Rhonda. You want to do work that's fulfilling. So that's a part of what success looks like to you. For Carly, it's time and space freedom. Obviously the ability to set your own schedule. Space, I assume you mean being able to work wherever you desire. That could be success for you. When Kelly and I started our business many years ago, success for us was being able to be at home when our kids were young. So that both parents were at home. We were working from home. We were able to definitely spend a lot of time with them in those early years, and that was what success looked like to us. And so for everybody, it's obviously different. Jennifer says, having enough clients to make sure my husband remains tired, remains not tired, retired. There we go. Having enough clients to make sure my husband remains retired. Okay, that's That's a good picture of success. I like that. Uh, Jody says, working remotely from home, ultimately working from wherever I want. Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing when you have that location freedom as well. Debbie says, let me grab that. Upper five-figure income with the flexibility to care for aging parents and family. Yeah, good point, Debbie. I even see that my dad is going in for a knee replacement in the next few weeks here, and just with our schedule, we were because I don't work a 9 to 5 at a physical office. We were able to pack up and be there for my mom and dad as to help him get to the hospital and help my mom and so yeah, that's success, isn't it? Isn't that a picture of success, just being able to have that level of freedom as well? Allison says, creating solutions for others while remaining passionate and creating another stream of income. Yeah, love that as well, Allison. Lots of good thoughts. So success will look differently at different times of your life. I just shared the example with my dad. That probably wasn't success. I wouldn't have seen that as success 2 years ago. But he's I have also aging parents, Debbie, and so that's something that is really meaningful, that we can integrate work with important life stuff like caring for aging parents, which is so cool. The freedom is so important, isn't it, Rhonda? Yeah. Okay, so a successful freelancer, you've already kind of come up maybe with what your definition is, but a successful freelancer is basically does three things. A successful freelancer is doing work they enjoy, that they may love or like, as long as they enjoy the work. That's important. If you're a freelancer and you're doing work you don't enjoy, that's not sustainable, and that's probably not our definition of success. It's got to be something you enjoy. A successful freelancer is earning the income they need or desire. You may have sort of ambitious goals, and then you have your baseline goals, which is like, this is what I need to provide for my family. Like Jennifer said, this is what I need in order to allow my husband to stay retired, things like that. So that's another attribute of success. And then a successful freelancer is working a schedule that fits their lifestyle. And so these three very much tap into a lot of what you already shared in your own, what you shared in your own words. You're doing work you enjoy, you're earning the income that you need or desire, and you're working a schedule that fits your lifestyle. And so that, to me, that is success. And obviously it'll look a bit different to everybody, but that's sort of our definition that we're working with for this workshop. And so success is, and Robert Collier says, success, I think I have his name down there. Oh, yeah. Let me just move back here. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. So some of the things you're sharing is like kind of almost the vision of what you see as success for your life. But then in order to get there, it's these small efforts that you do day in and day out that help you to earn the income that you want, to be able to have the flexibility to work and care for aging parents, and all the other things that you cited as freedoms that you want to enjoy. But it starts with these efforts that we do every day. I still remember a good friend of mine once when I interviewed him on I think I was either been on his podcast or he was on mine years ago. And I asked him, what is your strategy? Like, what did you do to build this successful? He had a great podcast and he had this great business. And he said, very simply said, I did something every day. I did something every day that moved me a little further along in my business. I did something every day. It might have been a 5-minute task. It might have been a 2-hour task, but I did something every day. And so that's sort of what this quote is representing. In other words, what you do every day, as my friend said, matters. It really matters. And it's those progressive steps that lead to you having a sustainable, successful freelance business that you're proud of, and that gives you the freedom that you all desire in your life. All right. So the big question is, what must I do to have consistent uh, success as a freelancer. What must I do to have consistent success as a freelancer? And that is really at the heart of what we're going to talk about today. And as you take your notes, I basically have 10 things for you. There's definitely some sub points under those 10 things, but my hope is that you will look at these 10 steps that I'm going to take you through, and you will identify the ones that you're successfully completing or working on, and then you'll identify the ones that might be bigger steps. And I actually have a picture here of the Great Wall of China. Many years ago, Kelly and I climbed the Great Wall of China. Not the entire wall, of course, because it's way too long, but we climbed a certain portion of it. And what was interesting about, and what is interesting about the Great Wall of China is that all the steps aren't created equal. In other words, there were certain parts as it got on like sort of this big incline, because it's built over this crazy mountainous terrain, as you all know. I mean, you can see it from space, but there's parts that are really steep. And there's also parts where the steps are huge, where I'm relatively tall, but even for myself, I would have to really stretch my legs to get up these big steps. And then there were other parts along the way that were like little steps. It's a bit of a hodgepodge, but for good reason. I mean, they were building this wall in the most treacherous terrain you could possibly imagine. And so the reason I shared that with you is it's very similar to your freelance business. As I go through these 10 steps, there's going to be ones that are smaller that you're like, I probably could get that done in a day or in an hour. And then there's going to be ones that are bigger just because they might present more challenges for you. You might find them difficult for certain reasons, or they have a lot of other moving parts in them that take more time. And so I thought that was a good analogy, because all these steps, as important as they are to you achieving your sustainable freelance success, are not created equal. Some are harder than others, and we'll fortunately be able to work through them together today.